Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully and welcome to more of the Sonic Oranges collection. And yes, that's not a typo, I'm calling it the Sonic Oranges collection because, well, who doesn't like oranges? Nobody, that's who, and anybody who doesn't must be stopped. But anyway, the theme song for Ice Cap Zone Act 2. I barely notice a difference in the Sonic Oranges collection. So, well, I mean, I will say this, at least in terms of what I didn't say about the level design, I love taking the top path in this level. I mean, it's a lot of its design ethos is actually more reminiscent of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but it maintains more of that exploration focus that, again, you can really get the best usage out of Tails. Like, I mean, there's stuff like this you never would have seen as Sonic. Well, I mean, unless you were playing two-player with Tails, but that's neither here nor there in this case. And again, the level's just really fun to explore in Act 2. I mean, it has a lot of speed, so again, if you just want to get the show moving on, then again, you very much can and just gain a lot of speed. Use your inclines, and bada bing, you do the thing, but I don't know. It's a nice way to get a lot of rings, and again, really pack that momentum. It's kind of like an icy version of Aquatic Ruin Zone, actually, where you can pretty much play through the entire zone without touching the water or the lower cavernous areas. And again, I will once again compliment Sonic 3's artistry, like, I mean, again, it really makes great usage out of the icy tundra setting. I mean, the only other game that I can really think used it quite well was, well, honestly, Ice Cap from Sonic Adventure, and, what was it? What was the ice zone in Sonic Unleashed again? It was, no, it wasn't Blizzard Mountain, it was something else. Holoska, that's it. Or I think that might have been the stage name, whatever. The point is, it's a Winter Wonderland, and believe it or not, the theme, even though I don't think it got an Act 2 mix, it seems to suit this a little bit better than the Act 1 version. I mean, granted, I still prefer the original Ice Cap theme in all of its Jetsons glory, but at the same time, though, I think it fits better here than it did in Act 1. Anyway, let's continue to let the birds do all the work, and by the way, if that platform races up, yeah, Eggman can crush you, so be on your guard. But I mean, apart from that, Tails is invincible! With the Chaos Amerdoodle protecting him with birds. Ah, lots of rings. The sound of success. By the way, I want you to take a listen to the music here. Well, not that you'd really be able to hear it with my waffling. I mean, not necessarily the intro part, but fuck it, I might as well spoil it. This song sounds suspiciously similar to City Escape in terms of its melody. I mean, it's not entirely one for one, but I mean, you do hear the da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. And I mean, again, well, I'm curious actually, was it Tomoyo Otani or was it Jun Tsunoya who composed City Escape? I mean, in terms of the instrumentals, I mean, I know the vocals were done by Ted Poley and Tony Harness, but I don't know, I'm quite curious if maybe one of those two went back to this game and thought, you know, that would make for a good melody for a rock song, and kind of converted it into that. I mean, speaking of, you know, Endless Mine as a stage in and of itself, I actually would have liked to have quite seen it. It's actually, again, I quite like the color contrast of the level, and it's, again, I think it would have made for a really interesting stage, because the multiplayer version in and of itself is incredibly short. And also quite easy, so maybe this might have been one that was made first, or perhaps a little bit later. Yeah, well, anyway, 5 rounds, you finished, and yeah, since I was playing against myself, I tied. Yo dear, it seems that Tails is evenly matched when beating himself, which I'm sure he does, every day of every night. But in any case, we get to one of my least favourite themes in the game, Launch Base Zone. Especially for the Sonic Origins collection, because, I mean, again, I like the original song fine enough as is. I mean, again, it's got a lot of that Michael Jackson influence. Quite heavily drenched, you know, with a lot of the ooh, hee hee. But, yeah, this one here, well, I mean, again, I know it's meant to be the whole fake, Final Zone kind of thing, you know, for the game, since, you know, oh, we're about to stop Eggman, so I guess maybe they wanted a more triumphant send-off to the likes of, Wing Fortress Zone from Sonic 2. But I mean, the way it's sort of set up here is just a little bit too... Well, again, as I mentioned previously, it feels too much like a temp track, and again, I just don't think it really suits the sort of funky atmosphere of Sonic 3's soundtrack portion. And again, like, I mean, you might think I'm making a bigger deal out of this than it is, but at the same time, though, music does contribute a lot to, again, how you perceive, like, a lot of levels. Like, I mean, soundtrack usage is entirely the difference between, you know, enhancing a level's atmosphere and, well, again, just feeling a bit tonally dissonant. Because, I mean, stuff like, I mean, presentation obviously doesn't affect gameplay too much, but again, there are a lot of facets where it can enhance or take away from specific elements. And I mean, I'm not just, I mean, again, a lot of this usually comes in the form of, like, you know, sound cues or animations or whatever, but I mean, I'm also talking in terms of, you know, what really gets you into the level. Like, to use an example, Doom. Like, I mean, that game took a lot of its instrumental cues from a lot of heavy metal bands, but again, that benefited the atmosphere because a lot of those songs were either from death metal or thrash metal or whatever, and again, the, you know, the fast-paced atmosphere really suits the levels. And again, like, I mean, anybody who's ever played Doom 64, you know, with a much more horror-oriented soundtrack by Aubrey Hodges, can tell you that, again, like, I mean, a complete change in tone and soundtrack can completely change the feel of a game, and... Well, again, I'm not gonna say that the Sonic Oranges collection completely ruins Sonic 3's atmosphere, but I do feel like it does lessen the impact a little bit, because... And again, maybe this is more of a thing for fans, because, again, I'm not really sure what kids or newcomers will probably think about it, but... I don't know, it just comes across as a little bit, eh. I mean, it's part of the reason why I'm complaining so much about the bloody Sonic 4 sound font Supersonic theme. Again, it's the Sonic & Knuckles theme, which, composition-wise, I enjoy. But again, because of the fact that the sound font is so completely different to the rest of Sonic 3 and, well, the Mega Drive sound font in general, again, it just comes across as, well, more like a fan mod as opposed to something that feels like it was a part of the game as intended. But anyway, I mean, all that aside, launch base is pretty much the same as it is as a level, so nothing more really to say. I mean, seriously, I got nothing. Maybe I should just let you suffer and, well, listen to the pish Supersonic theme. Again, I really don't know why they couldn't have just used, like, either kept it silent or sped up the music akin to getting, like, the power sneakers or whatever, or, I don't know, just anything better than fucking this. I would talk about Sonic Frontiers spoilers, but that game is still new, and I mean, I do at least have a policy. Again, it doesn't really come up much in terms of reviews, since, again, I don't tend to review a lot of modern games, but again, for commentaries and or for reviews, I guess I might as well state it now. Yeah, I don't tend to cover, like, storylines incomplete until a game is at least 1 year old, because, again, to give... I mean, at least in terms of, like, recent releases, because, again, it gives people time to explore it for themselves, and again, you're not spoiling anything with a complete thorough analysis, because, again, one of my ethoses as a reviewer is, again, good criticism is reflective, bad criticism is reactive, and, again, like, it needs a bit of time to settle in, like a new house, so you don't get instantaneous, reactions to stuff, like, oh man, X game is literally so bad and pure garbage. Which, I mean, is part of the reason why I have, whoa. Hello, Knuckles? I should have stayed there for a bit longer. Is he still gonna be there? Stellar programming. No, he is still there. Huh. You okay, buddy? Oh well then. But yeah, anyway, shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. I think it had something to do with the Silent Hill 2 remake thoughts on video being delayed. Yeah, I decided to postpone that mainly because I want to see if I can... Well, mainly because I want to see a bit of gameplay first before I make my decision, and again, I feel like a lot of my thoughts are a bit too, well, reactionary. Which I suppose would have been fine for a thoughts on video, but, I don't know. I kind of want to see how the game plays first. But anyway, you'll notice that there are still 2 capsules left, which are there for Knuckles to deal with the other 2, pod Spinny-Motron things that he can deal with. Anyway, I will say that I do actually quite like the, Act 2 mix of, Launch Base Zone. Again, not quite a patch on the original theme, mind you, but at the same time, it is still quite enjoyable, so... small mercies, I guess, and then, of course, I gotta go over it. By the way, a small fact about the high performance, if I didn't already mention this in the previous playthrough, I should say. Yeah, you don't need to collect air bubbles when you have your high performance, so... whoopee. Anyway, back to... what can I say that I haven't said before? Well, basically, it's just a finagly mess of pipes where you're trying to go left, but then you're just getting bounced every which way and sideways, and basically, it's just more so the prelude to, I don't know, fighting Eggman, and, well, getting to the entire reason why I even bothered to do a Tails playthrough to begin with. It's also part of the reason why I don't tend to return to games that much, apart from fucking around with a flying fox because I'm hungry for rings. Wee. Come on, I've gotta go to work in an hour, so if you're not finished yet, then I'm gonna be late, and then I'll get fired, and then I'll have to do the drugs, smoke jubie. Don't break that little alert capsule thing, otherwise you'll not get those rings, and you want rings because they give you power, and to let you buy stuff and Bayonetta, whatever. Wished. Whee! After image effect that Sonic 4, no, not Sonic 4, it was Sonic Advance 2, would abuse endlessly. A water slide, woohoo, yeah. It's spooky as hell when you're going through like incredibly dark tunnels. I've got really nothing else to say at this point, which I've said time and time again, so I might as well have something else to say. Well, I finished Assassin's Creed 2, that I mentioned in the previous part that I was playing again. Still a good game. I actually quite enjoyed it a fair bit recently, and it's actually kind of given me the bug to, like, go back to Assassin's Creed as a series, actually. Like, I don't know which game I'll probably do next, but I'm kind of feeling in the mood for Assassin's Creed 1, actually. Which, again, if you remember all the way back in the Matrix Path of Neo, way back in, like, 2016 or whatever, I said I was going to do a commentary of it. And then I didn't, because I did a 50-minute long review for Season 2 of Skully Reviews, which, God, was a bit of an omen for how I'd style my content and work myself into the ground forever, back when I had less responsibilities and could do whatever I felt like, more or less. Come on. I have to wonder, actually, how exactly... again, probably... Well, again, I kind of answered my own question. These super forms aren't canon, questionably, anymore, so I guess I don't really need to know why these birds follow Tails around. Unless maybe there was something like one of the spin-off games, because, like, was it Tails Adventure or Sky Patrol where he fought, like, that bird army thing? So maybe he rescued them there, and that came after this, though. Whatever. Anyway, this initial attempt was basically my attempt to get the most rings and sort of like cheese the upcoming boss, because unlike most fights in Sonic the Hedgehog 3, where you could more or less, you know, take care of a lot of them fairly easily, you know, provided your skill set at Sonic was up to par. Yeah, the one shortly after the Eggman boss fight here, well, next to Eggman bosses, I should say, yeah, actually one of the most difficult fights in the game, and something that, again, you didn't see during the Sonic & Knuckles run, because if you combine both cartridges, then, yeah, you don't actually get to fight it, it just skips straight onto Mushroom Hill Zone. And unfortunately, they removed one of the... I don't know if it was a bug or an exploit, I want to say yes, since they don't allow you to do it here, but, one of the things you could actually do is, I think both Sonic and Tails, depending on if you had the electric shield, is it? You can basically just jump over Eggman's hitbox and, you know, just do repeated damage by standing on the same platform that he does. A bit of a problem with this is that I think they either expanded the hitbox or they just corrected that programming bug, and basically you can't just get free shots on Eggman while avoiding that giant bowling ball. Nico, my cousin. Because Eggman is in Grand Theft Auto 4. Or at least if you mod the game. I mean, I would say it was kind of a shame that you don't get to use the Eggmobile for anything, but no, Sonic Mania actually gets you to use it for once. I don't know, I actually would, like, I mean, again, maybe not necessarily in the same style as Sonic Adventure 2, but I would legitimately like to see what an Eggman mech stage would be like in a more modernized game, because again, I think, again, at least if you had the ability to switch between, you know, Walker mode and Flight, I don't know, it could add a lot of dynamics to the gameplay, and I mean, if the open world design of Frontiers is anything to go by, could be an interesting gameplay facet to explore. Yeah, but still, I mean, if you were playing the Sonic & Knuckles and Sonic 3 combined cartridge, then yeah, this pretty much would have been your final boss, which I sadly die at, because, well, again, it's more of an embarrassing sort of death kind of thing, regardless, because, I mean, again, you have that little spike ball, which is pretty much the main threat. And again, it's constantly rotating around him, so, yeah. Sometimes you might get pipped even after you lose your rings, and it's just not a good time for all concerned. Blurn. That was a mistake. And now I have no rings. It's like Sonic 2 and Sonic 1, where you don't have rings for anything. I mean, this boss fight is usually trivial once you have Super Sonic, but I evidently don't because I got pipped by the bowling ball after Eggman was like, "Nico, my cousin!" And I got hit because I stood on the platform, then got hit by Eggman and died. Grrr. And now, if you were playing Sonic the Hedgehog 3 alone, this would be your final boss of the game. This is the Big Arms boss fight, and this boss fight is significant for a few reasons, because it's one of the few Eggman bosses in general that could actually defeat Super Sonic. Like, I mean, if you get caught in its, well, big arms, again, it'll pretty much pick you up, slam you down, and, well, again, you lose rings, you lose your super form, and again, if you does it a couple more times, you don't have time to collect your rings, and you are pretty much screwed. Again, however, you do have a window of opportunity to attack the big arms. Again, you pretty much just have to measure your jumps so that you attack, like, direct center into the mech's plexiglass screen. And again, that's pretty much your way to pip the boss fight. So again, provided that you are a bit patient, you can defeat this boss. And, well, to be honest, I'm kind of glad I don't have Super Tails for this point, because again, you kind of want to show this boss the respect it deserves and give Sonic 3 the proper ending that it deserves. And again, it does also play the final boss theme that you heard in, well, the Sonic & Knuckles final boss fight before Doomsday Zone. And again, like, I mean, the atmosphere of this fight is palpable, it is a serviceably challenging boss fight, so again, Sonic 3 alone, again, if you were just to buy that version of the game, you get your money's worth, I think. Even though I do think the better levels are in the Sonic & Knuckles portion, but it's neither here nor there, because space limitations and development and Michael Jackson going hee hee. Hip. So yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote in the boss fight. I mean, its phases... Again, its phases do have predictable tells, but at the same time, though, predictable as they might be, they are dangerous nonetheless, so again, I think it's a really, well, fantastic boss fight. Although I am kind of running out of time, because again, this was back in the days when Sonic games had 10 time limits, but not that it matters anymore, because we've finally stopped the Death Egg. And I can't remember, actually, did the Death Egg... I can't remember if it exploded or not, but I think it might have done in the original game. Oh, well, I mean, I think this is also the point where you would have gotten the victory screen and cut to credits, maybe? Although I believe what you're about to be seeing here shortly after the victory jingle is, I think, what they initially intended to add with one of the original cutscenes, or it might have been added specifically for the collection. But yeah, you see Eggman just flying away towards the Death Egg itself, and yeah, you get basically what's a scrubbed, clean version of the Sonic & Knuckles opening. Just minus Sonic & Knuckles showing up. Or the pyramids and platforms. It's a bit weird. Anyway, here we go. Sonic 3. And again, this is pretty much the credits you'd have if you had Sonic 3 alone. And yeah, as you can tell, it's the Michael Jackson credits. Because the credits will make you wanna dance and go Shimon, Shimon, Shimon! But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to show of the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 portion of the game. I'm not going to be playing the Sonic & Knuckles portion as Tails, unless you want me to do that. I mean, again, Sonic & Knuckles is my second favourite Sonic game of all time, so I am more than willing to do it if people want it, because I like the viewership and the money and the drugs. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, fumbly as this commentary was, purely for the sake of the fact that anything I had to say, I already said in the previous playthrough, and anything that I had to say was mainly just about music. Yeah. Again, Sonic Origins collection, decent enough, musical quality is a bit pish. Yeah, that's about all she wrote. So, I guess on that note, basically more Kingdom Hearts 2 is going to be coming up next. this is pretty much a commentary for those of you that aren't interested in Kingdom Hearts 2, so I guess if you're not interested in more Kingdom Hearts 2, then what's next? I don't know. Actually, you know what, it's been a while since I last tackled a Ratchet & Clank game, so you know what I'm gonna do next? I think I'm gonna tackle Ratchet Deadlocked, so... yeah. More platformy goodness, although then again, I should stress that's coming after Kingdom Hearts 2, because, well, Kingdom Hearts 2 is a very lengthy beast, and, since I am going after a fair amount of the side content, yeah, it's gonna take a while to complete, so... yeah. But either way, you got Ratchet Deadlocked to look forward to, and, well, it's gonna be a blast, so keep a lookout. I can't remember if this song was actually used for anything else in terms of Michael Jackson's discography, but, yeah. I mean, he did work on the game, so I guess I should probably correct that one point in the review where I tried to bust the myth of Michael Jackson working on the game. I mean, even though that was made in 2017 and I couldn't have possibly known at that point. But whatever. I mean, I simply just should have known. Like Howard Drossin. But whatever. On that note, I am Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and hope you dudes and dudettes have a great summer, or winter, or whatever. Catch you next time.